So, everyone knows Sonic.EXE. The games are kind of infamous for being, bad. More like cinematic ways to kill a fox than an actual game. Sure, you have some outliers like Spirits of Hell and like Wrath of Mobius, but otherwise, it's always like you walk to the right until you die, rinse and repeat, I am God, etc, etc. Now, I don't know about you, but I like my games to have substance, something to do. Literally any gameplay at all. But I didn't really have a way to do it. Originally, I wanted to make like a game that was a 2D platformer, but that's kind of boring. Every Sonic.EXE game is a platformer. As I was playing Don't Starve and Project Zomboid, I had an epiphany. Why not make a Sonic.EXE survivor horror game instead of a whole D simulator? One of the bigger influences of this idea was actually Sonic.EXE on Roblox, specifically their OSTs, like from The Disaster. I wanted to lean into the more emotional side of the whole Sonic characters dying. Originally it started out because of like the ending OSTs to The Disasters. These actually hit me in the feels, and I wanted to translate that into a game that's not an ASIM on Roblox. In fact, all of the music in this video is either going to be from The Disaster, Eclipse, or Outcome Memories, so if you've never played these, give them a try. Keep in mind, I have like absolutely no gameplay of this. This is a game that is still very much so in the planning, but I have a dream to one day make this game a reality, so I present to you Sonic.EXE, Mobius's Purgatory. Now, the whole game concept is simple. It's a survival horror game that is like similar to games like Don't Starve, where you have to collect resources to survive. This means things like food, water, and other resources like metal scraps or flint that will be very useful. The game will start in a gloomy green hill inside a cabin. This cabin will be your refuge, a completely safe space where you cannot be killed. And you're allowed to start with 6 starter characters. The playable character roster in full will be Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Cream, Metal, Mighty, Amy, Ray, Silver, Blaze, Rouge, Shadow, Vector, Amy, and Espio. And every character will be good at something, because every character will have different stats. For example, Eggman and Tails will have a higher intelligence stat compared to Sonic, and so on. Every person on the team will have a use. Tails and Eggman will be the only characters able to use high-level scrap and work with complicated machinery because their intelligence stat will be the highest. The stats in this game will be as follows: HP, which is just health, defense, which is how much damage they can take, intelligence, which is how good they are with computers, robotics, and machinery, speed, which affects how fast they are in combat and just moving around, strength, which is how much damage a party member can do, stealth is how conspicuous they are to threats, awareness is the ability to see traps, resources and other items more clearly, constitution, which dictates how much they need to eat and how much resources they will take up if they are on your team. Magic is for the characters like Silver's psychonesis, and resilience, which affects the mental stability the character is. The lower the resilience, the less able they are to fend off against psychological attacks, visions, and hallucinations. The party system is simple. You are allowed to have 3 characters in your party at any given point, and you can switch between the characters in your party as well, much like the party system in Knights of the Old Republic. Meaning, if you have Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails all in your party as you're exploring Green Hill, you won't just be stuck playing as Sonic, you will switch between them to use their certain skill sets, such as Knuckles being able to destroy walls and Tails hacking a door. Think like Sonic Heroes, that game. It'll be somewhat similar, except you'll be able to play like all the characters. Any survivor that you don't currently have in your party will be at the cabin, but they will still need to eat, so you have to make sure to keep food in that cabin, or else they might run off to find food and probably get themselves killed. Since you are only able to start with 6 survivors of your choosing at the start, the other 10 will be accessible through requests, some of these being locked behind like character requirements, such as Mighty not joining your party unless Ray is already in it, or if you choose him, or helping the survivor accordingly. There will be 7 stages, those being Green Hill, which is the main hub area and the only one with an actual safe space. The rest are You Can't Run, Angel Island, Mystic Caves, Kind and Fair, Not Perfect, and Act 9. Each with their own resources. For example, Mystic Caves will have a lot of clean water, while You Can't Run will be devoid of food and other natural resources, but would be an excellent way to get metal and other high-tier scraps to make better gadgets, sensors to find threats early, flashbangs, and many other things to help you survive against the threats. To get to these other stages, you would have to explore Green Hill to find warp rings to them. Every character would have their own inventory, so you would not need to worry about running out of space quickly, but the treks would be dangerous, especially with the threats the EXE has created. I don't have any names for them yet, and I'm not just gonna call them based off of like what they are. I'm not gonna call something a hulking mass. So for right now, I'm just gonna use the EXE they're kind of like based off of, or what idea they're based off of, until I can like have a better like name for them. Colossuses will be large, deal insane amounts of damage, and be very dangerous in close quarters. They would also be loud, dumb, slow, and lose you very quickly, meaning they would only really be dangerous if you're not paying attention. Tails dolls will be weak trappers who will wait for you to step on traps and then pounce. Their counter would be having someone with good perception like Ray or Rouge, or Espio. Weeping Angels would be extremely dangerous but rare. If you find one, you would have to keep it in your cone of vision until you got to safety or killed them. If they sneak up on you though, they will do massive damage and quite possibly kill your party member. Stalkers, if they find you, will silently alert your position to the nearest threat. Looking at them will make them go away, and many more, but I will not get into all of the ones that I wish to make because, well, some of it has to be a surprise. The consequences of losing a character would be massive. If you were to have a character die, your team will suffer a large amount of consequences. Not only do you lose their skill set, their abilities, and the things they're good at, and their inventory, you would also lose resilience, especially characters that are close, like Ray and Mighty. If Ray were to die, then Mighty would lose a large amount of his mental resilience, meaning he would be much more susceptible to psychological things, hallucinations, and red rings. Red rings are things that can appear around the environments you're wandering. If a character accidentally touches one, they start a mental battle dependent on how good their mental resilience is. If their stat is high enough or you are lucky, they will overcome it. This would be easier to overcome if the person who picked up the red ring has someone they're close to nearby. If they lose, however, they will become haunted, and you will lose them. And then they will try to kill you and your party, meaning it's probably best not to let them touch the red ring, and you cannot bring them back. They have one chance. Every character, if they die, they're dead forever. The main quest will follow you trying to gather all of the Chaos Emeralds, which, by the way, will have their own mini-bosses, one from each stage, and bring them back to the cabin to have a final showdown with the EXE that caused all of this in a final boss battle. Beat him to force him to the Master Emerald with the Chaos Emeralds to seal him away forever. To get the best ending, you will have to have all 16 members in your party and have them all survive. The worst ending is, obviously, if everyone dies. The last way to win is if there is one person left alive. If that happens, you're given the option to play his game, where you have to do some sort of trial based off the skill set your character has. I.e., if Tails is the last one alive, then you have to, solve time puzzles and other things. The combat will be similar to action RPGs, like Diablo, where it is in real time, since I just really don't like turn-based games. However, I will make it to where you can pause, not too dissimilar from Knights of the Old Republic, so that you can see what to do and make judgment calls, since every character will have their own abilities to be able to help you, such as Tails having grenades and, Sonic being able to, spin dash and all that. There will be a lot of cool ways to go about combat in this game, because there's going to be so many characters. But I also want to make the game extremely dangerous and as difficult as possible without making it frustrating. I want to make it difficult, but not unfair. Like, difficulty in a fun way, like Dark Souls, where if you learn the ins and outs of the game, then you have a way easier time, and you can no-hit the game and whatnot, or whatever. But on a first playthrough, you will probably die. That's what I want. That's what the kind of game that I'm going for. I want there to be difficulty, but not unfairly difficult. Because a lot of the gripes with games like Spirits of Hell is that they were unfairly difficult. In some instances, sometimes there was just choices that were a complete 50-50, and you didn't know which one to choose. And if you did choose the wrong one, then you just died. And a lot of the stages were just trial and error. That's not what I want. But, with all the resource management that it will require, I think it would be kind of fun. And that is my Sonic.EXE game idea. It is silly, kind of, but I think it would be a really neat idea. I don't know, I just don't particularly have the ability to make this right now. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. Subscribe and join my community Discord, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.